Do I have to? Can't I just not, please? Will you go away if I don't actually watch you? This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and it turns out that if it wants you to watch a certain movie, it will make every room in here start screening it. My Little Pony, A New Generation, is a new animated musical from Robert Cullen and José Luis Ucha, set many years after the relatively recent animated series, and within which a society where the three ponies, Earth ponies, unicorns, and Pegasuses, have separated themselves. The movie follows Sunny, an Earth pony whose father has brought her up on stories of the past where the three pony builds lived together in harmony, and who has spent her life trying to convince others to reach out and look past their fears and prejudices. One day, a unicorn named Izzy visits her town, sending others into a panic, but inspiring Sunny to venture forth on her own. Along the way, she learns a rather shocking truth about the alleged powers that unicorns and Pegasuses have, and which the Earth ponies have spent their lives fearing. So, the movie is pretty blatant in its themes of prejudice and fear, so much so that it oversimplifies the argument to a pretty basic conflict between "this is what we believe" and "turns out we were wrong." The plotting overall follows a pretty basic formula of a hero's journey, though very much streamlined in how Sunny, Izzy, and those who they meet don't really stick around for too long in places before accomplishing what they need to do and moving on. I'd argue that the movie is actually a bit too streamlined, and it doesn't actually spend enough time in these locales to make the ongoing events feel natural, or at the very least, unrushed. It makes things very convenient that our protagonists come to a new location, mess things up, get what they need, and then move right along, all within the course of about half an hour of runtime. Much of the movie in general feels a bit underdeveloped, most notably its own backstory regarding just why the ponies have become separated. But I guess answering that is something for the inevitable TV series to answer. Which reminds me, this movie feels more like a pilot for a TV series than a standalone film, rushing through its own story to introduce characters, locations, and get to the world where the show will be set. That said, I don't actually think that the movie is a complete waste of time. My Little Pony, A New Generation is generic, but it at least strives to have some value, which comes out more in its art design and cinematography, taking advantage of the animated medium to present a truly fantastical world. The film's few musical numbers do tend to be the better animated sequences, though it's probably worth noting that the songs themselves aren't all that memorable, working more to remind viewers of character motivations than progress the story further. Not to mention that about halfway through the movie, the songs seem to just stop coming. Anyways, the film's locations are also pretty well designed, with clear distinctions and details that show them having clearly been designed for their respective populations, rather than just looking pretty. The transition to 3D animation from the previous cartoon's 2D style is also well done, with the character designs looking great in their new environments, though they do stand out a bit because of how much more natural and realistic the environments are compared to the relatively flatter pony designs. Still, it's not a distracting contrast, and overall it works out for the film. Not that it really needs to try too hard. At the end of the day, it helps to remember exactly what My Little Pony: A New Generation is. It's basically setting up a new world for the franchise to continue now that the previous series has ended, I think. I mean, I haven't been keeping up. I just. Never mind. It would be easier to say that this movie is pointless and generic, made for a quick buck to try and push toy sales, or to remain relevant in the eyes of its audience. But at the end of the day, it's pretty average. It's not flawless, but it still strives to be better than basic. And overall, I feel like the movie knows the success of the previous generation of the franchise was a high point that it may never be able to match. And so, instead of going the opposite direction entirely, or trying too hard to exceed that standard, it does the best with what it's got. Or something to that effect. My Little Pony: A New Generation. Robert Cullen, Jose Luis Ucha, 2021. 2.5 stars. I'd recommend it for those days where you want a cute movie that you don't need to think too hard about. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If I missed anything, leave a comment. As always, subscribe to the channel for more reviews in the future. You know, I actually wouldn't have minded if the movie was a bit longer and built up more of its universe. But I guess they have to save something for the TV series. Are they even making a series of this? Probably. They gotta sell toys somehow.